And a very good day. Welcome to another Catchin KARP Outdoors. I'm Joel Niemeyer here on the podcast that honors Minnesota's great outdoors. And it's brought to you starting this week by Benny's Meat Market in downtown Hutchinson. We thank Benny's for being a sponsor of Catchin KARP Outdoors and remind you that Benny's Meat Market in downtown Hutchinson is a family-owned and operated business. They're your old-fashioned hometown meat market that offers custom and wild game processing, in-house pepper sticks, sausage, and much more. And don't forget the summer grilling season. Visit bennysmeatmarket.com. And good day. Welcome to another edition of Catchin KARP Outdoors here on our podcast on KDUZ.com, KARPradio.com, and KGLB1310.com. And for those that have listened to me for a long time on the radio, know I'm the sports guy here. And while there wasn't any spring sports, save one sport for this spring and into this summer, and that was the Hutchinson Tiger bass fishing team. And they're still going right now. And three of those members join us here on the podcast right now. Good day, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Doing very well, and we'll just we'll start off pretty easy. Have you introduce yourself, grade, and parents' names?
Paul Nass, I'm in 10th grade, and Randy and Mary Nass are my parents.
Okay.
Carson Pink, 11th grade, going into senior year. Christy Pink and Corey Pink are my parents.
Okay.
Jay Strappy, going into my senior year with my parents are Rick Drappy and Lynette Drappy.
Okay. Now maybe we'll just start off here because I mentioned it was kind of a weird year for all the other Hutch Tiger sports here. How was it from academic side, or if you did play or were supposed to play a spring sport? How was it for you guys as far as the distance learning and having to deal with all the COVID stuff?
It was pretty good. They were pretty relaxed on everything, so everything went well for me.
Sure.
The distance learning went pretty good, but really missed out on the cross season this year. That was a big thing I was excited for, but
okay.
Yeah, I didn't mind the distance learning because it was really easy, but it just was sad not to see your friends every day. But I did miss lacrosse too, but it was really easy otherwise, and it was
Sure.
fun.
Now, as far as the bass fishing season, when did that start? Did that overlap the school year a little bit, or how, I mean, we'll go over here to Paul. How did that? How did this start here this year?
It started probably 2-3 weeks after fishing opener, so it overlapped a little bit. But it's just one night a week, so one night a week didn't do much to your school.
Okay. Now, if folks are they've heard football and basketball, and they know you practice or lacrosse, like you mentioned, there's daily practices and all that. How does that work for fishing? You mentioned one night a week. Is it just go out and compete, or how does a quote unquote practice work for bass fishing?
So we have what we call scrimmages weekly. The team gets together and we basically fish against each other, and that basically just makes us learn new techniques and stuff for the big tournaments, which come up within the whole conference.
Okay, and that leads to my next question. As far as the tournaments go, how has that been going this year, or is that still coming up a little bit more yet?
So they canceled 2 of our main tournaments already, so we have one more on Minnewaska, and you have to place top 10 in that in order to go to state.
Okay, and what's the outlook? We'll go back to Paul here. What's the outlook? What are you hoping? Maybe what are the goals for this season?
Well, just with the one tournament, I guess just place good in that one tournament because that's our only shot at state. Usually we have 3 to place good, but
okay, and in a quote unquote normal year, you have those 3 tournaments. Do they all advance, or is it still just that one tournament to advance on to state, kind of like a section tournament would be in lacrosse?
So within the 3 tournaments that we'll normally fish in a year, we gain points throughout those tournaments. So the higher you place, the more points you get, and then they'll pick the top 10 out of each conference with the most points, and then you advance to state.
Okay. Now, conference-wise, tell us about who are some of your competitors that you're going to have to be going up against this year or in years past.
Howard Lake is one of our bigger competitors, and we're starting to get a lot more new teams, But otherwise, Howard Lake's one of our bigger ones. There's some good fishermen over there.
Okay. How about your team? Now, obviously, you 3 are part of the team here, but how many people do you have? What ages? What grades? Tell us a little bit about the makeup of this Hutch Tiger fish team.
So we probably have, I'd say 15 to 20 boats, 2 kids a boat, and the grades range from 9th to senior year. So all different grades, and there's actually a lot more boats. We started off with like 9 or 10, and we're up to just about 20.
Okay, and maybe you mentioned going to a tournament. How does a tournament work? Is it if folks have watched outdoor TV at all, they've probably seen a fishing tournament on there. Is it like that, or how when you go out for a tournament, how are you being scored?
So we get out there, we all launch our boats in the morning. We each get a number that's our takeoff order. So it ranges from 1 to however many boats there is, and then they'll blow a horn, and then you leave, and then the person with the 5 biggest fish wins the tournament. You just take the 5 biggest fish you catch that day, and you can do what it's called culling. You can switch out fish as the tournament goes, and then at the end you get together and weigh in. But this year's a little bit different. We have to do a online thing where you weigh your fish, take a picture of it on the scale, and take a picture of you with the fish, and then take a video of you releasing the fish, and that's how they score it now.
Okay, I'll go back then in a normal year. Is there again, going back to watching a tournament on TV, you see the boats come in, you got this big crowd in the stage and all that. Is that how it normally would be in something in a tournament like this?
It's more like that in a normal year. Like all the parents are there, a lot of family is there watching you for like every boater and every person there is fishing. So otherwise, I think it'll be a lot less this year because we're just doing it online so they can watch it from home,
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, when you're going out to a specific lake here, how do you guys, and I'll ask the same question to all of you here, how do you prepare? How do you get ready to, you get a game plan, what you want to, where you want to go, what you want to use, different things like that?
Usually we'll pre-fish a couple days before it, just kind of see where some spots are, and you always got to have a couple different spots because your first couple might be taken. So basically just pre-fish and find spots so you're ready to go.
Okay.
Like Paul said, pre-fishing is a big factor in it. You want to get out and fish deep, fish shallow, see where the fish are, see where you can best catch them. Then you want to have a few different spots. If you go to a spot, say you get a bad takeoff number and some person's already at your spot, you want to have another backup plan to fish there. So
Okay.
Yeah, I also agree with pre-fishing is the key for it. You got to figure out where the fish are biting and what they're biting on and what colors they like and don't like and all that. So you're prepared to go for tournament day.
We'll start on this side for this one, and I'll ask all three of you the same question here. Do you have a favorite technique or a favorite bait, or what do you, when you go out there, what do you like to use?
My favorite way to bass fish is dock fishing, where you use a Senko and a Texas rig and skip them under docks or around docks and boat lifts and pull them out of there, and that's a fun fight.
Okay.
the dock fishing is one of our favorite ways to fish because on a hot day, there's always going to be fish up under docks. And if you're struggling to catch your fish out deep, you can always go in and fish some docks, and there'll always be some fish up there. And that just always works out for us usually.
Sure.
Yeah, I like dock and under trees, skipping like a Texas rig or something under that. That's my favorite.
Biggest fish, it doesn't have to be a bass. Biggest fish or your most memorable fish that you have caught over the years?
6.5 pound smallmouth up at a state tournament a couple years ago.
Okay, that's a good one.
Mine was probably a 63-inch sturgeon up on the Rainy River.
Wow. Tell me about that. How'd you get that?
We just had the night crawlers and the sinker out casted in the river, and it's basically a waiting game, and we were catching smaller ones throughout the day, like 30, 40 inches. And then I finally set the hook into this one and felt a lot bigger, probably fought it for about an hour, and then finally got it into the 63 inches. So
It's not a bad way to fish when your small ones are 40 inches.
yeah.
How about you, Jace?
Mine was a 60-inch sturgeon also, and it fought so hard it probably took me 45 minutes to reel it in, and I was just dead by the end of it.
Is bass your favorite fish to go after, or what? Because for me, I'm more of I don't target bass as much as I do northern pike or walleye. What is your favorite fish to go after?
Bass, because they fight like no other. They jump out of the water, they take long runs, and they're just fun to catch. Even though you don't really eat them, they're just really fun to catch.
Sure.
Bass for sure, because you got smallmouth and largemouth you can go for, and both of them fight like crazy, and you're always constantly casting and moving, and kind of keeps you going throughout the day, waiting for that next bite.
Yeah, I would say bass is probably my favorite. I also like catching walleyes too.
Sure. Now, how about as far as you going back a few years now? How did you guys get into fishing or the outdoors, or just you just loving Minnesota outside here?
Well, I grew up on a lake. My dad's always fished and everything, so that's basically how I got into it.
Okay.
I would always go fishing with my dad and my grandpa when I was really little, and they basically started teaching me all their techniques. I started off learning how to walleye fish, and then I slowly started getting into bass fishing and started enjoying that a lot more.
Sure.
I grew up on a lake fishing also, and it's just something I grew up with and I've done since I was a little boy.
Now, obviously you have to have a love of fishing to be on the bass team, but what do you enjoy most, or what made you want to join the Hutch bass fishing team?
Just to compete against others bass fishing, because I love fishing, and it sounded a lot of fun, especially when you could compete against other kids fishing.
Sure.
Fishing, it was so much fun just doing it by yourself and stuff, but as soon as we got this chance to do it as a team and then fish against our friends, and you're constantly seeing how they're doing, and that's just the big excitement out of it, is fishing against others.
Sure.
Yeah, I just like competing against other people. It's always fun. See what other people catch and how you do against them.
How about your best tip? If you if you're a guy like me, that I don't really target bass a whole lot, so I'm kind of more of a not as experienced as you guys. What's your best tip for a new bass fisherman to get into that side of fishing?
Probably just get out and start fishing a lot with whatever. I don't know.
Okay, try different things. Okay.
Yeah.
Start off like weed lines and stuff. Those are always good. You can throw like spinner baits and stuff. Same things you could throw for some pike too. And as soon as you start getting in the groove, you can move up shallower or even move out deeper and start throwing some other stuff and just kind of figure out the lakes a lot.
Okay.
You can watch a lot of experienced fishermen on YouTube, so you could watch a couple videos and go out and try it. And I'd stay close to shore too, because there's a lot of bass there.
Sure. Going back to the tournament, this one I forgot. If I'll compare it to a football game or a lacrosse game for that matter. You can call a timeout. You can get some coaching from a coach. You do different things. Is there something, or how is quote unquote coaching in fishing? Can you get tips during a tournament, or how does that work?
You can get tips from your boater, but you do have 3 timeouts you can use, but we never really use them. You just can kind of keep going and going throughout the whole day. But yeah, you can't really get any tips from your boater at all.
Okay. How about we'll end with this one here. Favorite lake, whether it's around here or not. We'll start off on Paul's side here. What's your favorite lake to go fishing at?
Probably Lake Coronas. That would be my favorite.
Okay. What do you like about that one?
Just the bass. I kind of found some good spots on that lake, and it's just fun to catch bass up by docks there.
Okay. Carson?
I would say Green Lake. We've caught a lot of fish out there. It's a fun lake to fish. It's not too awfully hard to fish, and once you get on them, you can catch some really big fish in one spot.
Okay. And then Jace?
Probably Washington, because you can pull in a mixed bag and it's nice and close. You can catch smallmouth, largemouth, and they hold some pretty nice bass there.
I lied. One more question, because some of these are deeper lakes, and Washington's obviously a smaller lake. Yeah. Do you like, or what's the difference to you, as far as a lot of these lakes around this local area are more the shallow lakes? Some are deeper over that way. Do you like shallow, deep? What's your thoughts on that?
It doesn't really bother me too much, shallow or deep, but with the deeper lakes, there's usually more smallmouth and there's more habitat for them to live in, so
okay. Those
are fun to fish. When you get on a smallmouth, they fight like crazy.
Sounds good. Hey, we appreciate you coming in here, and best of luck on your season, and good go and catch a bunch of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Paul Nass, Carson Pink, and Jace Droppy here on Catchin KARP Outdoors. Don't forget, introduce a kid to the great outdoors, and always keep your line in the water. If you would like more information on Hutch Bass, I think they're on, you guys correct me if I'm wrong here, Facebook and Instagram. You guys have stuff on?
Yes.
All right. Check them out. Facebook and Instagram. Search for Hutch Bass.